Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Leon's Corner. This is Leon, your host with the most. How's everybody doing today? Thank God it's Friday. Huh? So, I was. I thought I would not forget about this, but I remember, guys, I told you we were going to finish up with our series on Final Fantasy VII chronology. Yeah, my mind slipped out, and I forgot about it. We still have our fourth and final uh, part of this series, which is Dirge of Ceberus. And I just remember because a couple weeks ago, I I I bought the Final Fantasy structured deck for Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering. So yeah, I remembered about our final and fourth part on this chronology. And with saying that, once again, hold on. Okay, once again, welcome to Leon's Corner. If you have your favorite drinks and snacks, right now would be the perfect time to take them out, sit down, and enjoy the show because we start now. Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos al Rincón de León. Les habla León, su servidor. Hoy es viernes y menos mal. Como dicen, gracias a Dios, hoy es viernes. Am, ya sé que había dicho que íbamos a terminar con la serie que habíamos empezado de la cronología de Final Fantasy VII, pero se me olvidó por completo. Así que fue error mío. Pero andaba viendo unas cartas que compré de Final Fantasy para el juego de Magic the Gathering y me recordé que tenía un, un capítulo pendiente o la cuarta y última parte de esta serie, que es el juego Dirge of Ceberus. Y otra vez, bienvenidos, y si tienen sus... Diciendo esto, diciendo esto, sean bienvenidos y si tienen sus botanas favoritas o bebidas favoritas, ahorita sería el tiempo perfecto para sacarlas, sentarse y discutir. relajarse y disfrutar del show porque empezamos ahora. So, yeah, guys, today we're gonna finish up our series on the chronology of Final Fantasy VII, which is our fourth and last part, and that's the game Dirge of Ceberus. Now, here's a little recap. Final Fantasy VII started with the cell phone game um, called Before Crisis. However, it was never released to America. So, if we're talking about American time frame, then the first game would be Crisis Core, which um, the main character Zack. Um, well, if you go back to the first game is mainly about the Turks and the whole conspiracy about within Shinra and the rise of the terrorist group Avalanche. Then Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. We have Zack who has to figure out, deal not just with his friend but with a rogue um, soldier named Genesis, who was MI, and Joe went apparently, and Joe went afterwards to look for him, but they both disappeared. And you find out that and Jill still helps you from here and then, but he is not the same guy you used to know. Interesting thing, and Jill, Sephiroth, and Genesis, they were best friends actually. So when Genesis disappeared, Sephiroth didn't want to take the mission to look for him because it would be hard on him to even take him out. So Zack had to actually look for him. Throughout that, he meets Cloud, who becomes his best friend in the long run. And we also know Zack loved the flower girl Aerith, who hangs around a church all the time, pretty much down there in the slums at Sector 5, if I'm not mistaken, or close by the slums. So in all this, you find out that Angel somehow disappeared for a reason. He kept on in touch with you, but there's a time where you have to face him, and well, Then you you have to fight Genesis in a final battle, and you and Cloud escape from the Shinra mansion, and this is where things get sketchy. So that's why I didn't get in touch as much with the anime, uh, the Last Order, and also it was confusing from what we saw in Final Fantasy VII. But then again, um, then we move up to Final Fantasy VII. Okay, so you beat Genesis. Sadly enough, Zack dies protecting Cloud from the soldiers because they get surrounded, and they were told not to do nothing. Everything was going to be handled by the Turks, but they didn't get there on time. So Shinra's forces took care of the job, and uh, really killing Zack. And then, of course, Cloud's left her, and Zack tells him, "Hey, you gotta live for me. You're gonna be my living legacy," and so forth. So Cloud accepts that, and he arrives at Midgar. That's when things get really complicated, because now we're talking about our third our third part, which was Final Fantasy VII, and that's when the Avalanche already was battling against Shinra. So yeah, Cloud get messed up. He believed he was that one first class soldier, but later on he tells his friends that no, he made all that up. He lived something he made up based on his friend Zack. And after that, once you defeat Sephiroth, comes our next part, which is Advent Children. I talked about the novel and just a little recap. Uh, the city of Edge had been constructed, and everybody's moving on with their lives. And suddenly they're hit with the geostigma, causing them to get sick to the point where they actually die. From that point, we go to the movie. You see, once again, Cloud trying to stop Shinra. Well, it's not trying to stop Shinra because Rufus, I I think he gave up. I don't know. I can't really tell what Rufus was thinking at this point, but The new enemies were Kadaj, Lust, and Yasu, who had their encounter with the Turks, and of course, um, they injured both Elena and Zeng, which Vincent helped. Vincent tried to help them see if there was a chance of survival, and yes, they were able to show up in time when to save Rufus from that falling building from the building. Then of course Cloud chases Kadaj and there's a whole big thing there. They get, they finally fight at some point. Kadaj does a thing where he transforms into Cephras, and this is the second time Cephras comes back to comes back and fights Cloud. Now I don't know if Cloud does the Knights of the Round, but some of the mobs are familiar. Anyway, he defeats Sifra. Everything comes back to normal. You see Erez and Zack at the end at the church. By the way, guys, major spoilers. So if you don't like spoilers, you have a what to do. You know what to do. And then, of course, after that, what was it? Um, we have our final uh, chapter, which is the game Dirge of Ceberus. And here you're gonna find out what happened at which guys. I To be honest with you guys, they never finish the story of Final Fantasy. It was a cliffhanger, and you'll know why in a bit. Damas y caballeros, hoy vamos a concluir con la serie Las Crónicas de Final Fantasy. Hoy estamos en la última parte que es el juego de Dirge of Cerberus, pero antes les voy a decir lo que sucedió en las primeras. Ah, es como cuando en las películas enseñan lo que pasó anteriormente. Entonces, en el juego Final Fantasy VII empieza por el juego de Before Crisis. Y este juego nunca fue o nunca salió en los Estados Unidos, pero cuenta la historia sobre los Turks y las conspiraciones que habían entre Shinra y el y nacimiento del grupo terrorista ah, Avalanche. Pasando a Crisis Core, que fue el segundo juego, pero aquí en los Estados Unidos es considerado el principio de la historia. Ah, tenemos a Zack, que por una causa del destino tiene que ir y buscar a un soldado que desapareció en acción, en acción. No solo él, pero a su mejor amigo y mentor, perdón, amigo y mentor. Entonces, él conoce a Ares y a otros de los, bueno, en fin, otros de los Turks. ah, Se enamora de la chica de las flores, Ares. O sea, se conocen, ella está vendiendo flores. Um, y le dan la idea que deberían de tener un carro de venta de flores. Pero esa es otra historia. En fin. ah, S- Zack tiene que pelear contra Joe por una casa del destino. Luego tiene que más adelante pelear contra Genesis. Pero antes conoce a un soldado llamado Cloud, se hacen buenos amigos. Ya después de cierto tiempo en la pelea con Genesis, eh, después de eso, al final, si me recuerdo bien, es Cloud y sí, Cloud, Cloud y Zack huyen de la mansión de Shinra, pero Cloud está sumamente enfermo porque fue sumergido en Mako. Entonces escapan y cuando llegando justamente a Midgard, es cuando el grupo de los soldados los atacan, eliminando completamente a Zack. Increíble que él trató de pelear contra toda una armada, pero en fin, él era uno de los soldados más fuertes de la unidad, así que, en fin, Zack le dice que él es su legado, a Cloud que su espada, le da su espada, pero esa espada se la había dado Ankyo a él. Entonces, entonces Zack se la da a Cloud y dice que tú vas a ser mi legado viviente. Y Cloud acepta. Y es cuando llega Midgard y entrando a Final Fantasy VII, ya es cuando ya Cloud es un mercenario y se une al grupo Avalanche para acabar con Shinra y todo lo malo que han hecho. Entonces, Cloud tiene una pelea con Sephiroth, pero lo que sí Sephiroth había desaparecido, es más, ah, tomó mucho tiempo para que apareciera de vuelta. Bueno, entonces ya después de los eventos de Final Fantasy VII, ya cuando Cloud le gana a Sephiroth y el meteoro ha sido bloqueado por lo que era el Holly. Am, Midgard queda en ruinas y se construyó una ciudad a las afueras de Midgard llamada Edge. Y luego entramos a lo que es el libro a la novela de Advent Children, con, cómo fueron todos infectados por el estigma, am, cómo Denso llegó a vivir con Tifa y Marlene, y esa es la introducción. Después sigue la película Advent Children, donde Cloud tiene nuevos enemigos que son Yasu, Los y Kadaj, quien al rato se convierte en Sephiroth. Pero antes de eso tenía que hablar con Rufus, por qué saber qué es lo que estaba pasando. Y ya cuando tienen la pelea es cuando Kadaj se convierte en Sephiroth. Lo que no está claro, o lo que no sé es si el último movimiento son es lo que le llaman los caballeros de la mesa redonda, o sea, Knights of the Round, pero pero la verdad no sé si no he visto el movimiento en el juego porque un amigo hizo todo el proceso que uno necesitaba de tener los chocobos para agarrar el chocobo especial que nos llevaría al punto donde agarraríamos esa materia de habilidad. En fin, es su segunda pelea con Cifras, elimina a Cifras, Kadash cae, en fin, Cloud Cloud a Cloud lo disparan una vez, lo disparan, se reúne con Ares y Zack, pero es enviado de vuelta porque, bueno, estaba toda esta situación de que a Ares le decían madre, entonces Cloud le dijo eso y Ares dice, madre, otra vez ahora, ¿por qué todos me están llamando madre? Y Zack le contesta, bueno, como que todos te quieren. Entonces dice, sí, pero este es muy grande para ser adoptado. Entonces, Zack le dice, bueno, lo siento, amigo, pero no hay ningún lugar para ti aquí. Y es cuando Cloud regresa a la vida, porque justamente se juntaron ahí en la iglesia donde se encontró con Ares y por primera vez y ve a Ares. Y la cosa es que Cloud se sintió mal porque en el juego él tenía que matar a Eren, pero él no podía hacerlo, lo tuvo que hacer Ceberus. Entonces, de la pérdida de Eren a la pérdida de su amigo Zack, tuvo que vivir una mentira. Y luego cuando despierta, ve a Ares con una niña y luego está Isaac esperando a Ares y se van y Ares se voltea y le dice, le dice Ares, ya ves, todo está bien. Y al final Cloud en su mente dice, sí, ahora ya sé que no estoy solo. O sea, Cloud sufrió mucho, no solo por el envenenamiento del maco, pero sino que por la pérdida de Zack, su mejor amigo, la pérdida de Eren, porque ni modo. Eren es, yo creo que Cloud se estaba enamorando de Eren, no sé, o se casó con Tifa, no sé, no sé si se casaron o no sé qué pasó. En fin, so yeah, guys, what I was saying was that, yeah, a lot happened on Advent Children. Clouds defeat Sephiroth, and of course, Cloud eats it because of Yasu and Loss, and then you see a white um, everything's white, and Cloud's like mother, and Eren's like again. Why everybody is calling me their mother, and you hear Zack saying, "Well, they are fond of you." And Aaron's like, yeah, but this guy, he's a little too old to adopt. So you hear Zack making a little remark. He's like, sorry, friend, you looks like you don't have a home here. So Cloud comes back. He's surrounded with the kids, and at the end, you see Ares walking to talking to a girl. Then walking towards the entrance, and you see Zack. And suddenly Ares turns around and tells Cloud, no, everything is all right. And he lives she lives with Zack. And you see Zack like just like waving his hand like yes. See you, Fred. You know. Give me a second, guys. To see who's this guy. Reddit the 13th. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, so they take off and uh, or was I saying that in Spanish? Bueno, se van y le dice a Cloud, ¿lo ves? Todo está bien. Y ven a Zack solo haciendo esto en la puerta, así como, adiós. Y se van. Luego Cloud dice, sí, ahora ya sé que no estoy solo. And now we're getting into the last and final part to this series. And this is Dirge of Ceberus. So the game starts by Luffy clearing people from what was Shinra headquarters that got hit with it, that got really hit and somewhat destroyed. They were searching for survivors, and Vincent, of course, he went up where the cannon was, and he sees Hojo right laying on the control panel. Because what happened there, you guys, I mean, what happened right there was that they defeated Hojo. That was right after the battle with Hojo. Anyways, um, Yuffie tells them to go back because it was getting dangerous, and Vincent's talking to her. Then he turns around and he doesn't see Hojo anymore. It's like his body vanished. Hojo's body vanished. So after some time, oh yeah, by the way, before I continue, Cloud's not longer the main character. Now the story goes to Vincent Valentine. Now Vincent's the new character. The new he's the new uh how can I say this? He's the new main character. Cloud's not longer the main character now. Now it's now it's Vincent. So ahora empezando con Dirge of Ceberus. El juego comienza donde Yuffie estaba evacuando a la gente que estaba en lo que alguna vez fue el edificio de Shinra, que quedó hecho pedazos. Y Vincent estaba chequeando el área donde estaba el cañón cual usaron para destruir a, a las a las armas. Se me olvidó. Uno de 100 weapons era un dragón. En fin, no, no era un dragón, era otra cosa, pero pasando eso, Hojo estaba, el cuerpo de Hoyo estaba justamente encima de los controles y Yuffie llama a Vincent y le dice que se vaya, que es que está peligroso. Y Vincent le dice que va a terminar de chequear el área y cuando levanta la cabeza, ya no ve a Joyo. Es como si el cuerpo de Joyo se desvaneció. Lo que pasó es que esto fue después de la pelea que se sostuvo con Hoyo, que era el científico de Shinra. Entonces pasó un tiempo y hubieron unos nuevos soldados empezaron a aparecer de las sombras, eh, raptando gente, destruyendo lugares y causando caos. En este punto, Vincent era el único que podía pararlos. Y sí, los para y luego se encuentra con un viejo amigo, quien es quien fue empleado de Shinra y al fin lo podemos ver y él es Rib. Él hace su aparición, bueno, hizo su aparición en la caricatura de la historia de Denzel. Entonces ya sabíamos quién era Rib. Ya sabíamos quién era Rib, pero en el juego él está apenas haciendo su aparición. Y le pide a Vincent que se una a su grupo llamado W, WRO. Ya se me olvidó, ah, pero creo que era the World Regenesis, W, eh, WRO, creo. World Regenesis World Regenesis Organization. Entonces, Vincent no estaba seguro, pero con lo que vio, no tuvo ninguna otra opción. Y ahora tienen que pelear estos nuevos soldados conocidos como los Spiets, que son dirigidos por Azul. Um, y ahí es cuando las cosas se ponen aún más difíciles, porque Rib le dice a Vincent que tiene que ir a investigar la ciudad de Edge por la desaparición de si mucho 13 personas, creo. O más, no recuerdo bien, hace mucho que jugué este juego, Al llegar allí, Vincent se encuentra con Shalua Rui, que fue otra, que era otra que eh, trabajó para Shinra en un tiempo, y ella estaba buscando a su hermana. Lo más triste es cuando ella descubre que su hermana era parte del grupo de los Sfiets. Ella era uno de ellos. Ahora, olvidé mencionar algo. En el juego, antes de que llegara la parte donde Vincent entra en acción, am, había una parte de las noticias donde descubrieron el secreto que guardaba Shinra, y esos eran los primeros soldados, la primera unidad de soldados que eran los Sfiets. Y el único motivo por cual ellos quedaron encerrados bajo el edificio era porque ellos se salían fuera de control. Ellos no pensaban como los segundos soldados que aún teniendo sus habilidades, reconocían las cosas, por decir reconocían. Y los únicos que sabían ese secreto eran el presidente Shinra, claro, Hojo, que era el, uno de sus científicos, Edgar, que era el que dirigía el grupo de seguridad, y creo que también, ya se me olvidó, am, mm, Scarlett. Rufus ni sabía nada. En este punto, Rufus, bueno, mencionan a Rufus y lo único que mencionó Rip fue que Rufus ni estaba al tanto porque en lo que pasó el mando de Shinra a sus manos, pasaron muchas cosas. Entonces Rufus no sabía nada de eso, ni siquiera de la primera unidad. So yeah, guys, it's um like I said, like I was saying, before we get to Vincent going into jumping into action, there's a part where on the news they tell that they finally uncovered one of Shinra's darkest secrets, and that was the existence of this one group of rogue soldiers. Um, they're called the Sviets, and they're led by Azul. Uh, and the only reason why they were locked under the building was because they wouldn't listen. I mean, they would do anything. I'm assuming they wouldn't take any orders. That's why they were locked up. And Rufus, well, the secret, only few people knew the secret. President Shinra, of course, because yeah, he's the main. Yeah, well, he was the main person, the main lead, the main guy. So yeah, he has to know what was going on. Hojo from the science division, then um uh who else knew that? Oh yeah, Hager, who was in charge of the security division, and of course, I forgot her name. I just mentioned it, and um, no, I forgot. No, she's a jerk. Oh. Anyway, Riv goes on telling Vincent that Rufus didn't even know about it because with all that things that were going on when uh he gained transfers of powers of the company, there was not much time to really tell him what really happened. So and that's when, now going back to Vincent saving the first town, um he meets up with Riv, who you don't see him. um I'm lying because you do see you see Riv, but on that anime feature of the Denzel story, you see him, so you pretty much know how Riv looks like. But those of you who didn't know, he makes his appearance in Dirge of Ceberus. So now Vincent has to fight this Viet. But here's where things get hairy. So Riv tells Vincent that he's supposed to go to the town of Edge because there's a lot of people that disappeared. And while he's there, he runs across a lady named uh, Shalua Rui. I think no Rui no what's it, Rui? Shalua. Yeah, forget the last name. But they meet up and they're talking about the missing people, and Shalua tells him about uh, Rip telling her that she's just wasting her time looking for somebody, and that was her sister, who, of course, and this is a spoiler, so you guys know what to do if you don't like spoilers. But Shock, Charlotte's sister, happened to be with the Sviets. So it is a shock for Shalua to see Shock being with the Spheres. But things happen afterwards. O sea, sí, fue un shock para Shalua ver a su hermana, que es parte de los Spheres. So they met at a building that re-established their main headquarters, and and he oh man, it's been a while. Trust me. Um, there's a fight going on. I remember there's a fight there, and um, you have to face Shock, but Shalua tries to help her, and the thing is, since Shock is being manipulated by a soul, she doesn't know what's real or not. And the sad thing is that while trying to escape from the Sviets, Shalua dies protecting her sister. So at that point, um, Shock joins your party and decides to help him whatever uh, she can do. Later on, you're joined by Cloud and Company. So yeah, there's a lovely reunion with old friends. However, Cloud's not longer the main character, it's Vincent. And they decide to launch this attack to stop the Sviets, because right now their army has increased. I mean, really. So I love the whole air battle, and then I love the fact that you see Cloud with Tiff on a car, and then you see Barrett. I mean, you're like, yeah, they're back in action. They are, but they're on the outside perimeter fighting while you are on the building trying to actually get to their main boss. Was it Bice? I think it is Bice, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So it's kind of funny guessing them, and Vincent going off on a board on a board like Tommy on Power Rangers. I don't know if you guys remember on Power Rangers the movie when they were doing the whole skydiving thing. Tommy jumps in on a board, and he goes like, Sursu, and he just jumps from the airplane, and he's just gliding on the board. Well, that's what really happens. You're on the board, just like that. Vincent goes down, and the sad thing is, you landed outside the perimeter. You landed a bit farther than where you were supposed to land. So on your way, you get help from the members of the WRO. Oh God, I forget that. Anyway, they help you out, to get closer. And first, you gotta fight um uh, Rousseau. I think that's her name. Uh, God, she was insane. I mean, it took me a while. I just let me see something. Do I even have? No, do I have it? Do I? Give me a second, guys. I could still talk, but yeah, I mean, Rousseau, she was so insane. I mean, as a fighter, her movements were unpredictable. It, it took me a while to actually cut up with them, but anyway, you go through Rousseau. I think after then you go through Azul, Azul, and man, talking about hard guys, Azul was a pain. If you think Rousseau was hard, Azul, man. But you wanna talk about really insane, then that would be the final battle, which was with what's his name? Vice. And here's the thing. It is revealed, actually. Hojo reveals to you, he said that he used the body of Vice, and how he managed to live was because he transferred his data, his thoughts, his um DNA, was it his DNA or what was it, or his data through the machine, um through a machine, and placed it on Vice, so he was able to manipulate Vice. And the fight's really insane, trust me. I I I had a hard time. I had a hard time beating Rousseau. I'm gonna admit, I even had a hard time beating Shulk. But One thing I gotta say before I continue, yeah, there were a lot of negatives on the game. I mean, the game's good. I'm gonna tell you, the game was good. The storyline stands for speaks for itself. But I guess the mechanics since one of the toggles is to move the cameras and the other toggle was to move the body. It's kind actually to control the character, and I understand. It took me a while. I mean, I been through Metal Gear and some other games, so I know what people mean by the camera the cameras being awful. I understand that, but the more you play it, the better you get used to. So I mean, you cannot blame the cameras. Blame the say that it was a bad game because of the cameras. But anyway, going back to what I was saying. Um, the final battle is insane because you are known as the carrier of the proto materia, and if you remember from Final Fantasy VII, you could turn into a monster into different monsters, right? But this time you turn into what was it? A vampire type, kind of a vampire thing. I can remember, and you fight this big something on a big old ah god. It was a weird fight, but once you beat that thing, something happens. Everybody's like looking at the sky, and supposedly you disappear for some reason, or you blew up with that thing. I forget. I am seriously. I mean, uh, I wish I could show you a video of that, but let me check something here. But anyway, like I was saying, there's this one fight going on, and something happens. There's an explosion, and everybody's looking at the sky, and you hear Goofy going like, "Vincent." But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, sorry about that. Um, let's see if I can find it. I mean, what could be worse now? The heck? So yeah, and everybody's like looking at it like Vincent disappeared. Give me a second, see if I could find it. I think you're fighting Pies. Yeah, you fight Pies. Give me a second. You do fight Pies. Oh yeah, by the way, you might see something that makes me think about the cliffhanger. And that's what I didn't like. They never finished. Actually, there was a lot because after the fight with Pies and everything, if you get the secret ending, you get a secret ending, and you see Kadaj. No, you don't see Kadaj. I'm sorry. You see. I mean, you see Genesis picking up Pies, claiming that there was no there was a lot of work to be done. is it? Okay, I'm gonna share with you guys that bit of a battle. So this is where what I was saying, where things get really insane. Anyway, I'm gonna fast forward it a bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's stretch the ending. So here, definitely here uh, Pies. You beat Pies, and this is what I was talking about, where you disappear for a moment. Everybody's like, "What's going on?"
Vincent?
So yeah, and credits. So you disappeared, but then at the end, of course, if you get the secret ending, this is what happens, and this is what I wait. Oh no, this is Shalua. Oh man, this is sad. Everything gets back to normal and so forth. It looks like you guys are having a normal life.
Vincent. It has been almost a week since that day. The life stream has returned to the
But anyway, I wanted to share with you guys that what I was talking about. Hojo, of course, he took over Vice. Um, so, damas y caballeros, lo que les enseñé fue la parte final donde Vincent toma el riesgo y desaparece y todos se quedan viendo al cielo. Y Yuffie dice, Vincent, y luego empiezan lo del final, enseñan la parte que pasó, que ya todo está en paz y, ah, y ¿cómo se llama? Ah, Shock dice ya todo está bien. este, el otro. Y luego hay una parte que quiero enseñarles. Otra vez, esto es un, am, como siempre digo, si no les gusta, porque por temor de que vaya a arruinar por ustedes el juego, entonces, ni modo, tienen una opción. Pero esto es lo que quería enseñarles, porque se ve que no terminaron la historia y no se sabe si la van a terminar o no. So yeah, guys, this is the video I wanted to show you after the fight, and because it ended on such a cliffhanger. I mean, Genesis came back, so what the? Sí, there he is. Ahí está Genesis. Él ha vuelto.
It is not yet time for slumber. We still have much work to do. My brother.
So yeah, guys, it's like I was saying. I don't know. It feels like the game wasn't complete. Did they wanted to rush it, or did they wanted to? The question is, are they gonna continue the story, or that's it? Because I mean, that's a that's a cliffhanger. I mean, I've seen plenty of cliffhangers, but this one really cuts the cake, guys. I mean, literally, uh, you see Genesis showing up, and if you go back to Crisis Core, you fight Genesis, you fight Genesis, and um, Not only that, what it's weird is going back. You finish off with Genesis. You take Genesis out. You put them together with director Lazard, who at this point looked like Angel, an older version of Angel, and Cloud. You put them together and you give them each one of those fruits, the a dumb apple. I don't know if you guys remember Angel's story about the dumb apples and why he didn't steal from a certain tree. But you you look at it and then you go like, yeah, time to it. You eat it and then you hear Genesis saying, well, is it good? And of course you agree with him, and then he just stops moving and you take Cloud with you. Then you see two soldiers taking Genesis' body, and they were discussing about what was going to happen with him, which they don't say what happened to Genesis. But I think one of them was Vice, one of the soldiers, because I think they mentioned Vice. So I don't know. I don't know. I I I it's hard to tell what was the deal there. And then seeing this piece where um you see Genesis back taking Vice's body and saying that work's not complete. So it is a major cliffhanger. And the question is, are they gonna? I mean, I know they did the remake of Final Fantasy VII. They make the remake of Crisis Core, which is Crisis Core Reunion. But would they would they do the remake of Dirge of Ceberus and tell us exactly what happened, what really happened, why Genesis was there? That's one thing we'll never know unless they decide to make it otherwise. Ah, damas y caballeros, como dije, am, no sé, no tengo idea si la historia esté completa o no. Por lo que veo, aparentemente continúa, pero aquí está la situación. Aquí está la situación. Hicieron el remake de Final Fantasy VII, hicieron el remake de Crisis Core, que es Crisis Core Reunion. Yo supondría, yo supondría que tal vez intentaran hacer, o tal vez, no estoy seguro, o tal vez hagan el remake para este juego en el futuro y nos expliquen y nos expliquen exactamente más qué fue lo que pasó después de la pelea con Vice y por qué apareció Genesis. Well, I'll be damned. You know what, guys? I just noticed. Okay, so everyone's opinion on Dirge of Ceberus remake. So I wonder if they're gonna do a remake of it. Well, who knows? I wish they do the remake. I mean, they have seven. They had Crisis Core. I think it would be a fair game if they do the remake of Dirge of Cerberus. So one of the questions they got is also uh could is Dirge of Cerberus a canon to the remake? I mean, give me a second. Uh, yeah, is Dirge of Cerberus a canon to the remake? Apparently, yes. Oh, snap. Okay, so here's something that was said. Uh, A Dirge of Ceberus. Okay, can it be a? Yeah, that'll end the second only to the mess that is Crisis Core as the worst entry in the compilation. Okay, so how was Crisis Core a mess? I have some questions here because I mean Crisis Core was the first, well, here in the United States was the first game on of the Final Fantasy VII series. And why they say it's a mess again? Huh. Anyway, there was one post that said, let's see, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth fully expecting Dirge of Cerberus remake after the trilogy. Okay, so you know what? We might get the remake of. They might do the remake of Dirge of Cerberus, but that's that might or more than likely, according to what it I'm reading, it's gonna be as soon as the Final Fantasy VII trilogy is over until it's complete. Hmm. Anyway, I I just wonder if they do. I mean, they should finish the story because there were. I mean, I'm asking myself what's gonna happen. Was that it? I mean, you see Genesis appearing. You see Genesis reappearing, which gives you a hint of something. It's not just he's appearing just because he wants to appear. He's giving you a hint of something. So I hope, I hope there's another, or if they do the remake, they finish the story explaining what happened. At least, unless they're planning to do something, having Genesis returning because he comes back. So who knows? Damas y caballeros, como ya he mencionado, y como vi un post ahorita y dice que es posible que hagan el remake de Dirge of Ceberus ya cuando hayan terminado con los primeros 3 discos de Final Fantasy VII. Y me gustaría que lo hicieran en parte de que trataran de explicarnos por qué fue que reapareció Genesis, o terminar la his al menos, o terminar la historia. Pero eso no lo sabremos, el tiempo nos lo dirá, así que hasta entonces tendremos que esperar. So yeah, guys, saying this, I think it's time to wrap it up, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And um, don't forget we have the After Dark Gaming, and as I said before, I'm doing different games, so it won't be as bad. Because believe me, I know if if I continue doing one game, just one game until I'm done, things are gonna get out of hand. I know myself. So yeah. Okay, with saying that, um, I'll wrap it up now. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Um, feel free to leave your comments and ideas of course, future challenges. Because remember, I do give out points for challenges. I have channel points that I give out. So yeah, and other than that, uh, take care, take care of yourselves, take care of one another. Mm? And till then, this is Leon signing out. Peace out. Damas y caballeros, hemos llegado al fin de otro episodio. Espero que les haya gustado. Esto, si les gustó, si tienen preguntas, ideas para próximos retos, estoy dando puntos en mi canal para retos. Esto, ¿qué más? Am, en fin, Espero que la pasen bien el resto del día. Cuídense, cuídense uno al otro. ¿Entendido? ¡Ah! Hagan bien y no miren a quién, ¿ok? Hasta entonces se despide León diciendo que tengan un bien día. Oh, y recuérdense, también tenemos los juegos de después de la noche, así que estaré, como ya he dicho antes, seleccionando un juego al azar para que no sea así de simple y aburrido. Entonces, hasta entonces se despide León, deseándoles un feliz día y nos veremos en el próximo episodio y buen día.